Well, hope you're gravy, gravy, gravy. Hope you're gravy, 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 gravy. Hope you're gravy, 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 gravy. Are you good? 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 I make music, by the way. I make music. I'm doing a song a day challenge where the goal is to drop a song again to the end of the year. I drop 7 songs every Friday. Every Friday, 7 songs. So link in description if you wanna check out what I dropped this past Friday. I dropped 7 songs this past Friday, and I'd greatly, greatly appreciate if you go check them out. Link in description, and you can go to my YouTube Shorts tab as well to listen to little clips of everything I put out. So I appreciate you. Then you can just drop a like on the video as well. That'll be amazing. Helps me grow, and I really appreciate everyone who likes the video, comments, shares, all that wonderful stuff, subscribes. Really helps, guys. Really helps. Okay, guys, we need a... It's raining outside. It was actually raining. There were people making a bunch of noise outside, blasting music, and then the rain scattered them like cockroaches. So now they're hiding in their homes. Thank God I can film finally. Well, I was waiting for them to like go back inside, and the rain just godsend. It took them back inside. Anyway, that's the downside of living in like in an apartment complex. Like, but even if you live in like a neighborhood full of noisy people, it's very hard to film stuff when you need quiet. Fortunately, during the week, people will be at work, so they can't. If they were at home all the time, oh my God, the noise would be insane. Some areas, depending on where you go, are quiet. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. We need to talk about Haiti. I don't know if you've been following what's going on in Haiti, but oh my God, things have gotten bad. Things have been bad for a while. I'm sure you've all heard about Haiti, like, oh, send donations to Haiti and the UN, and all these pictures of Haitian kids starving, and all the gangs and whatnot, all the crime. We've kind of known, but I don't think people knew the details of what's going on. There's a very strong wind. Can you even hear me? I think you can hear me. I hope that's not too harsh on the ears. But what choice do I have? I have to film. But I don't think people knew how bad it was. Like, guys, when I say it's bad, okay, so let's get. I'll give you a brief overview of how bad it's gotten. The gangs have taken over. When I say they've taken over, the president has left the country. He's not in the country, and he can't come back. They're not letting him come back. They've taken over the parliament. What have they taken over? Haitian gangs take over governments. So they're demanding that the prime minister resign. I know in 2022 they raided the judiciary headquarters, so the Palace of Justice, where a bunch of judges and lawyers reside and do their work. They went in and shot the place up and kicked everyone out, and that was back in that was a while ago in 2022. So they run that place now, and they destroyed a bunch of documents. And oh, here's another wonderful thing they did. Very recently, like this week, I think, this past week, they set prisoners free. They opened up the prisons and let the prisoners go. Whoever wanted to go out could go out. So prisoners are running loose in the streets. thousands and thousands of murders and rapes and kidnappings. A lot of things that are normal in the country at this point, like you'll be at church and then someone will show up while you're watching. They'll go to the pulpit and kidnap the pastor. While you're there, you're watching it happen. That's how bad things have gotten in Haiti. But this has been happening for a while. But now they're literally taking over the government. They're going to these government institutions, these buildings, and shooting the place up and holding the place at ransom. It's not even at ransom. They've taken over. Because they want to be seated at the international table with these other countries so that they literally want to run the country, which is hilarious if they think that's going to happen. They're terrorists, these gangs. Look at them. It looks like a hip-hop crew, but it's just a gang. Well, what's the difference? This is what I'm saying in hip-hop. We need to stop glorifying gangsterism, man. Because this is where these guys... That's what they're mimicking. At least aesthetically. They think this shit is cool. They got chains, they got the hoodies and the balaclavas, and the style is just like these American gangsters. These rapper gangster guys. It's sad, man. But anyway, so they've completely taken over the country. Completely. So I just want to read some stuff for you. Okay, so I'll just read a small passage. At the Haitian Times, we've covered these brazen attacks too many times to count. Gangs have decimated entire neighborhoods, kidnapped from church pulpits, invaded the highest court in the land, occupied police stations, controlled access to critical ports, forced hospitals to close, and otherwise imposed control on so many institutions. Few places were left for gangs to attack but the jails. The only difference with the weekend's attack is that the gangs allowed journalists access to document the death and destruction they wrought. For the first time in some years, I'd say since journalists like my colleague Dieu Nalio Sherry were forced to flee Haiti, we're getting professional photos of corpses lining the streets, of women literally cowering in corners of the Colombian assassination suspects, too scared... Oh wait, I'm not reading properly. Of women literally cowering in corners, comma, of the Colombian assassination suspects, too scared to leave the prison. Just before and during the attacks, the two factions behind them, under the Viv and Sam alliance between G9 and GPEP, coordinated which neighborhoods to strike via WhatsApp and social media groups. For days and weeks prior, as deployment and talks progressed, the gangs sent out warnings about overthrowing the government using counterfeit liberation messages. For years, in fact, they wanted a place at legit political negotiation tables, deservedly or not, so they would be factored in the international community's plans for Haiti. So now, come now everyone, what did we expect? Let's sensationalize less and focus more on the unsexy but important steps towards stability. Ask questions like, what's the breakdown of the $600 million annual budget for the Kenya-led mission? Anyway, so that gives you like a basic overview of what's happening. In this country, it's war now. The country's at war. They need to bring in the military and they need to start shooting these bastards. Honestly, it's beyond throwing them in jail at this point. It's like shoot to kill. Bro, the president is out of the country and they're telling him, the prime minister to wait. Do they have a prime minister and a president? How does that work? Haitian president. So he's Haitian prime minister. guess he serves in both capacities, but he says he's the prime minister and president, or he was the prime minister. If he was the prime minister, it suggests that someone else is the prime minister now. Or maybe he still is. Who knows? Anyway, the point is the main guy, the president, is out of the country. They're asking him to resign. They've taken over the courthouses. They've released prisoners from jail. They've taken over many government institutions. They're literally kicking people out of their homes at this point. So, like, imagine you're just chilling at your house in your neighborhood, and a gang comes and says, "Get out. This is our house now." That's literally what's happening. People have been reporting on that. They're controlling the ports. So ports where the trade happens, so boats come in and deliver goods and all sorts of things. They're controlling those areas. They've seized those areas. It's bad. Many people are being forced into the gangs, and by the way, a lot of these gangs are cannibals. They have cannibals in them. They eat other humans. How much worse could it possibly be? How bad could it possibly get, guys? When your country is overrun by cannibalistic, demonic gangs. They eat humans. Bro. And I'm telling you this because, again, most of my audience is American. And there's a part of the American population that's very stupid and very naive. And they're very ignorant. And they don't pay attention to history. They don't pay attention to the world around them. So when you see things like this happening to Haiti, you have to ask yourself, how did it get to this point? What policies enabled this? Because this doesn't just happen, guys. It's not a mistake. This is very avoidable. So what happened? Things like crime and these gangs forming and poverty, they're symptoms of a larger problem. Obviously, we know that it's poor government, but what exactly? What choices are being made? This is gonna be an interesting video. Kind of competing with the rain right now too. I hope you can hear me. Anyway, a couple things have to happen, right? You have to have good economic policies that keep poverty at bay, therefore minimize crime. And then you also have to be tough on crime. So you can't love your criminals. You can't be sympathetic with your criminals. You have to make this a very hostile environment for thugs, for goons. Singapore. Everyone needs to study the rise of Singapore. Okay, let's Google rise of Singapore. I think the rain is interfering with the network. This laptop just does what it wants. It just disconnects by itself without. Why can't you connect? Connect to the network. Connect to the network. There you go. So in a few decades, Singapore saw an unbelievable rise from one of the poorest countries in the world. What's happening? Is this thing flashing? Anyway. One of the poorest countries in the world to one of the richest countries in the world. So, like literally in the 90s or in the so it says here around 1997, as recently as 1997, they were experiencing a horrible economic financial crisis, right? And they had to make some economic changes. And without getting too deep in the weeds about it, because this is very technical stuff that involves all sorts of markets and industries. So it says that the Singapore economy is mainly driven by exports in electronics, manufacturing and machinery, financial services, tourism, and the world's busiest cargo seaports. So basically, you have to open all that up and allow for free market trading in all those areas, right? Reducing government regulation, allowing people to create businesses, set their own prices, hire and fire people as they please, do business with who they want to do business with. You're not overtaxing them. I've given the example before of Senegal, who charges it's like 40-something% tax on imports. So if you're in Senegal and you're trying to do business and you're importing your goods from other countries, the government charges 40% tax on everything you import, right? That's not sustainable. Your business will go under. That's too expensive. So it's idiotic policies like that, right, that are laid in place by corrupt officials who are trying to bleed the country dry and disincentivize entrepreneurship by doing so. It's economic policies like that that make a country fail. So Singapore was like, we're going to stop doing all that. And they started freeing up their markets, essentially. And that led to incredible economic booms, right? They started becoming very big on all of this. So like it said here, if you just go back, hold on, I just want to see something. Other emerging industries that are making significant contributions to Singapore's economy include medical technology, aerospace engineering, clean energy, healthcare, and content development. That's another thing that happens when you start freeing up your markets. More markets emerge because you're allowing for entrepreneurship to blossom, right? Because as wealth and prosperity spreads, more people are able to contribute to the economy with their own ideas. So you start to see medical technology, aerospace engineering, clean energy, healthcare, content development, so on and so forth. It spreads. But when the goal is regulation, control, tax, redistribute wealth, yada, all this nonsense, it's a bottleneck. You're trying to control everything. There's this concept that the market will regulate itself. If you allow entrepreneurs to be entrepreneurs and conduct good business, they create employment, they generate wealth. People, everyone benefits, right? Everyone benefits. Someone like a Jeff Bezos, people hate Jeff Bezos, this rich billionaire, How many jobs has Amazon created? Even you can talk about Amazon workers not being paid enough and all this sort of stuff, but just think about Amazon as a corporation around the world. How much money has it made people? That many people have become rich through Amazon, right? Even through Amazon Kindle and all these sorts of things, people publishing their books through Kindle, the streaming service Amazon, and the jobs that's created. People are making movies with Amazon now, the Amazon Music, so on and so forth. Like one man decided, I'm going to create this company. I think he founded it with a partner, but you know what I'm saying. Jeff Bezos is the face of the company. He's the guy, right? I'm going to create this company. We deliver packages. I think it was initially books. We started with books and stuff like that. And then look what it turned into, and look at all the jobs it created, all the money that is going into people's pockets as a result. You can criticize it, you can say this, then that. But the point is, there's wealth that has been generated that was not there before. That is an example of what happens when you just let people be. Stop trying to interfere. It's hailing now. It's hailing now. I don't know if I can keep recording. I don't even know what I was saying, but basically, I was talking about Singapore. I just want to quote someone, this economist, just saying, I don't think any other economy, even the other Asian tigers, have that good a statistical record of rapid growth, full employment with very good social indicators, life expectancy, education, housing, etc. in the first 20 years. So if you consider that just now in the 90s, back in 1997, as early as 1997, they were having a serious economic crisis. How they've managed to turn it around and become one of the richest nations in the world. It's a very small land. They have no real natural resources that are of real value to the international community. Little land, basically no natural resources to sell to the rest of the world. And yet they're one of the richest nations in the world. How does this happen? How does this happen? Well, let's look into it. It says Singapore has little land and no natural resources, but after its independence in 1965, the former British colony was transformed into a major manufacturing and financial center. The late conservative economist Milton Friedman described Singapore as an example of how to do development right. If you compare this is a quote, if you compare the conditions of people in a place like Singapore with the conditions of people in a place like Red China, or for that matter Indonesia, you will see that the economic freedom is a very important component of total freedom. So we see our economic freedom produces growth. Another quote, they have very, very free trade, very low tariffs, and very few non-tariff barriers. They'll boast about how you can start your own company in Singapore in 3 hours. So guys, we're seeing radical shifts in how they handle business and the freedom at which they allow businesses to develop. They boast about how you can start your own company. These hooligans are out here hooting, making and laughing, and like, oh my god, bro. Whew. It's raining, it's pouring. What are they doing? Anyway, you can start a business in 3 hours. Whereas someone like here in South Africa, there's so many barriers, bro. And on top of that, the tax you pay. Oh my god. I'm sure tax, like low tax, bro, in countries like Singapore for businesses. Yeah, it says here, low taxes, few capital restrictions, and liberal immigration policies. The liberal immigration policies, I think there has to be a caveat there, in terms of who are they, because it's very hard to get into Singapore now that it's such a booming market. Getting a home in Singapore and all these sort of things, it's difficult, it's expensive. So that when was this article written? Like 2015? Yeah, this was written in 2015, almost 10 years ago. So when they say liberal immigration policy, they don't mean just letting anyone in, but in terms of like they were letting in good people who are contributing to the economy now. Now you have to, back then, I think you still have to be relatively well off to get into Singapore and establish a good life there. But now it's like you have to be really rich to like just go to immigrate to Singapore, and because it's expensive now. They're doing really well. So obviously it's going to be a bit more expensive to go into a country like that and try and establish a life there. At least like buying a home, stuff like that. But it's attracting a lot of people, right? And immigration is a good thing, provided that you let in the right people and you're very selective of who you let into the country. It's not what's happening in America right now, but we'll get to that. Free trade, low tariffs. So tariffs meaning the we don't need to speculate. Let's tariff meaning. What is a tariff? What is the actual? A tax or duty to be paid on a particular class of imports or exports. Yeah, so the tax you pay on imports and exports. So I told you about Senegal. Now they charge like 40%. So let's Google Senegal tariffs. Um, First of all, they pay 18% VAT, which is a lot, which is ridiculous. That adds up. So I don't know if 40% is. I think 40 it can reach up to 40%, but I don't know if 40% is. I don't know if any country is actually like just standard 40% tariffs. High tariffs. So I think the general tariff rates in Senegal is like 20%. And then there are cases people have reported. There was a businesswoman was talking. What is she has like a cosmetics brand. And she was saying on one shipment she paid like 40 something percent. Also, by the way, corruption is a thing. Some of these things are not happening officially. So what they're reporting to you officially isn't necessarily what's actually happening on the ground, because again, these people set the prices for themselves. So on a particular import, someone can say, who knows what number they can give you. They can take advantage of you. So I guess it depends as well on the people you're dealing with at the time. And but generally speaking, 20%, which is a lot, 20% on all imports. Again, if you're a small business owner, you're just starting your business, and 20%, you have to pay 20% tax. So let's say you have a shipment coming in that's $100,000 worth $100,000, $20,000 tax. So $120,000 essentially is what you're paying. That's not sustainable in the long run, right? So businesses can't function that way. On top of what other charges are you going to be paying? VAT is do you pay VAT on imports? Yeah, in many countries you pay VAT on imports. So even here in South Africa, it says you pay VAT on import. So you're paying the 20% tariff tax, and the what is the tariff tax? It is like 20 something percent. Is VAT not the tariff? Because there's no way. 18%. There's no way they're gonna charge you VAT, which is 18%, and the 20% tariff tax. This. It says the highest tariffs are 20%. Are applied to imports of cartons, boxes, fresh apples. I don't believe that it's 20%, because people have talked about numbers as high as 40%. Yeah. Well, if the government is reporting 20%, like, why would you believe this corrupt government? Well, okay, now we're seeing interesting numbers here. So petroleum oil. What? Okay, I'm seeing a bunch of charts here. Nani? Oh, interesting. So there's actually 35% tariffs. The products that can have a 35% tariff rate. What? Am I reading this correctly? Qualifying goods from ECOWAS, so ECOWAS, so it's an acronym. Member states enter into Senegal duty-free, while imports from these other types of countries, which are not ECOWAS member states, including Egypt, Morocco, Somalia, and Tunisia, and the rest of Africa, are levied the MFN applied duty, which is the ECOWAS CET. The ECOWAS CET has 5 tariff brands: duty free, 5%, 10%, 20%, and 35%. So duty free includes medicaments, crude petroleum oils, fertilizers, printed books, newsprints, newspapers or journals, human blood, apparel and clothing, accessories. But 35% includes, so the what you're paying 35% tariff on: soap, buttermilk, meat and edible offals, groundnuts, oil, sheep or goat meat, bread, pastry, cakes, chocolates. This is strange. So for the food you're paying 35%, or for consumables I guess 35%. What? I'm seeing a lot of yeah. So, hey man, the numbers are all over the place. But the point is, yeah, I got distracted. The point is, right, a country like Senegal, high tariffs. And that's just one aspect of a very bad economy, right? High taxation discourages entrepreneurship. In Singapore, you can do whatever the hell you want. Essentially, you can start a business in 3 hours. Very low tariffs, very low tax. It's a haven for businessmen and women. So that's one side of things, right? That's how you get your economy booming. Now let's talk about the other side of Singapore, which is their policies on crime. Singapore death penalty. Capital punishment in Singapore is a legal penalty. Executions in Singapore are carried out by long drop hanging and usually take place at dawn. 33 offenses, including murder, drug trafficking, terrorism, use of firearms, and kidnapping, warrant the death penalty under Singapore. So they kill their criminals. You get caught committing the 33 crimes that qualify you for the death penalty in Singapore, including murder, drug trafficking, terrorism, use of firearms, and kidnapping. So it's not like in America where you can kill people and brag about it in your songs and be let out without bail. Like, it's not like that in America. America's a mess. In Singapore, they kill you. They kill you. They don't care. Singapore, because people say the death penalty doesn't work. They say capital punishment doesn't work. Shut up. You're lying. Crime rates in Singapore are some of the lowest in the world. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? Singapore crime rate statistics for 2019 was 0.20, a 32.17% increase from 2018. But it has one of the lowest crime rates in the world. Wait, its crime rate for 2021 was 0.10, a 40% decline from 2024. So what's do they have 2023? Singapore was ranked first safest country in the global law and order index that is based on people's experiences and perceptions, such as feeling safe while walking alone at night and confidence in the police. It was ranked the 3rd safest city by the Economist Intelligence Unit that covers digital, health, infrastructure, and environmental security, and 24th safest out of 136 countries in the global organized crime index. Basically, it's very safe. And an aspect of that is the fact that they're probably the biggest aspect of that is that they are, well, a good economy is a great way to mitigate crime, but also being tough on crime is a good way to mitigate crime. So they've got a wonderful economy that alleviates poverty, therefore people do not see the necessity in stealing and robbing and all sorts of stuff like that. But then you always have criminal elements regardless. So the next step is to be tough on crime. So they kill criminals in Singapore, and even if they don't kill you, they have harsh penalties. They're not afraid to beat you, up. Singapore police beatings. So it seems like they don't have a police brutality problem. Oh, I'm seeing articles here about people complaining about being beaten up and they beat up their criminals. Let's just say that the police aren't afraid to, but they also seem to have a way around police brutality where they're not getting the wrong people. So far, the Singapore police force has performed rather well in its conduct. This has not gone unrecognized by the general public. In a 2016 public perception survey conducted by the police, 92% of the 4,800 Singaporeans and permanent residents rated safety here as good or very good. Respondents cited low crime rates, increased police presence, and fast response to crimes as reasons for their high levels of trust toward the police force. They're very efficient. They direct their anger and hatred towards the criminals. The criminals get the brunt of it. The criminals get killed, or they get beaten up, or thrown in prison for a long, long time. They're not fucking around. Unlike in America, bro, where you can be an illegal immigrant, you can beat up police officers. That literally happened in New York. Illegal immigrants beat up New York police officers and were let out without bail. They're out. Nothing happened to them. After they're let out, they fled to another city where they're going to continue their crimes. Unbelievable. Do you see the contrast here? Do you see the contrast? So they're tough on crime and they're capitalists. And as a result, they have one of the safest and richest countries in the world. Compare that to Haiti. Compare that to a country like Haiti, which is falling apart. The cannibalistic gangs, these are cannibals, keep that in mind, have scared the president out of the country, have taken over the judiciary headquarters, have taken over police stations. All sorts of public institutions are literally kicking people out of their homes. The gangs are running the country. And now, with America and its literally wide open border, the border's wide open, Venezuelan gangs are pouring through. Venezuelans' crime rate has dropped to a historic low, the lowest crime rate it has had in decades, because the gangs are leaving and going to America because the border is wide open. And people, the Democrats will talk about how the Republicans rejected their border bill. Oh, we had a border bill, a bipartisan border bill that would have closed the borders, but the Republicans refused. That border bill, number one, said that it would have legalized the entry of 5,000 immigrants per day into the country. Kirsten Walker from MSNBC will say, like, no, but it would have been processing them into the country. They still would have been illegal, they would have been undocumented, and they still would be getting into the country at a rate of 5,000 people per day. So what's the difference? This is the propaganda I talk about. This is why I say mainstream media is state media. They try and spin you a story as if what you're seeing isn't happening, as if illegals aren't pouring into your country. 5,000 per day. And on top of that, they had that border bill that the Republicans rejected. I think there was a provision of $125 billion. $60 billion was going to go to Ukraine. About $20 billion was going to go to the actual border, and then I don't know what they were going to do with the rest of the money. How's that a border bill? How do you call that a border bill when most of your money is not going towards the border? It's going towards another country. Can someone make that make sense? Because it doesn't make sense. You can't call that a border bill. So then it was rejected. And the Republicans had their own bill, the HR2 bill, Secure the Border Act, and it actually passed. So let's see. You can go to congress.gov and actually track this thing. It actually passed the House. It passed the House Judiciary floor, whereas this other border act proposed by the Democrats did not pass the House Judiciary floor. It didn't get that far. So long before this Democrat bill was proposed, yet another bill that was proposed that they rejected, and they're still sitting on it. They're refusing to pass it. That would have effectively closed the border, and they rejected that one. Why is that? Because they want illegals to come into the country. They want it because, again, voters. It means voters. Guys, as we speak right now in America, you can, without documents, vote in local elections. You can't vote for governors and presidents, but you can vote in local elections. So I guess the person running your town and so on. I don't know if you can vote for mayors, but you can vote in local elections undocumented, which is insane. That's even allowed. For crying out loud, you had a Chinese national who's not an American citizen, doesn't speak English apparently, because whenever they interview her, she speaks in Mandarin. The subtitles are in Mandarin. So no one knows what the fuck she's saying. And she was elected onto a board in California that oversees voting legislation in that area, in that state. She's a Chinese national. She's not even an American citizen. She cannot vote herself, but she's overseeing voting regulation in California. Unbelievable. That's America, man. So unless y'all cut this out and you stop this, you're headed quickly in the direction of countries like Haiti. That's not an exaggeration. We were seeing the slew of murders. The girl Lake and Riley got murdered. There are many people that have been murdered by illegal immigrants over the past few years. Unfortunately, not all of it makes the news, but it's happening. And then there's the drug trafficking, and then children going missing, and gangs have taken over parts of the southern border. Guys, and again, I told you about the Venezuelan gangs that are leaving Venezuela at such a high rate that Venezuela's crime rate has dropped to a historic low in order to enter America. If you think this is not going to have any negative repercussions, you're a fool. You have people identified on terror watch lists, terrorists from countries like Iran, where they scream death to America. Those people are entering your country. They've been identified, and they're in your country, and no one knows where they are. Wow. And people are voting for, no, we need illegal immigrants. Immigrants are no. Guys, you need a process whereby, look, we talked about Singapore, how it had liberal immigration policies that helped its country. It was screening its people. It was letting in the best of the best, people who are going to improve its country, not take away from it. America needs to have the same stance where it's like, we're only letting in people that love our country and are going to do right by our country. I'd love to go to America someday. But I like America. I don't want to harm America. And they'll do a background. I don't have a criminal record. Hopefully by the time I'm going there, like, I'll be in a position to contribute economically and stuff like that. Like, I'm the type of immigrant they would want. Not someone who's a gang member and has multiple felonies on their record, so on and so. That's a large amount of people that are coming into the country. I'm not against like the family that just wants a better life and whatnot, but even then, it's like you have to be an asset. This is not charity. Like, if there's space, of course we'll let you in. If it's not going to be a burden, because you can't help everyone. That's another thing people must realize. You can't help everyone. So they have to let in people who they know are going to be assets for their country. So yeah, anyway, America is on a fast track to disaster right now. The Joe Biden presidency has been horrible, and these Democrats do not know what they're doing. They're very short-sighted, they're very stupid, or worse, they're doing this on purpose, which some people think they are doing for various reasons I will not get into. But it seems like there are people invested in the destruction of the American country. Because There's no way this ends well. The economy is in shambles. Immigration is at an all-time high. America's enemies are buying farmland. China's buying so much farmland in America. It's buying all these film industries. It's implanting its own nationals into the government of the country. Again, this woman does not speak English. She's actually giving interviews in Mandarin with Mandarin subtitles. She can't vote. She's not a citizen, but somehow she's an elected official. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Unbelievable. So all this is happening at once, right? Again, I gave you the example of Haiti. I told you about where Singapore was, one of the poorest nations in the world to one of the richest nations in the world. El Salvador is another example of a country that was in complete disrepair. If America is not careful, you're going to find yourself in a very, 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 very bad place, and you'll be shocked how quickly things can turn bad. You'll be shocked. I came from Zimbabwe, which was actually doing very well economically in the mid 1900s. A bit of the late 20th century, and then Robert Mugabe, just the former president, he was actually doing well for a bit of his presidency. I don't know what happened to him, but at some point he just became very evil and lost his marbles. And I'd have to look into the history of that, like what made him do what he did. But he destroyed that country. But it was very quick. The destruction was very quick. It went from a very affluent African nation to a very poor, corrupt, derelict African nation in a matter of a few years. It was crazy how quickly it happened. So yeah, I'm just trying to warn people, right? Because you have a bunch of people in America who vote emotionally, right? You have people who are single issue voters, so they vote on single issues. They say, my thing is, for example, abortion. I want abortion, therefore I'm going to vote for the person that votes abortion, that provides abortion, instead of saying, I'm going to vote for the person that overall is going to benefit the country. You can't vote on one issue, because what if they can give you that one thing you're looking for, but everything else they're terrible in? It means your country's going to fall apart. So that's how people vote now. They vote very emotionally. They don't think. They don't analyze policies and say what's going to be best overall for the country. And right now you need Trump. You need Trump, because under him there were no new wars globally. The American economy is doing great. Crime was not as high as it was now. A lot of things were working out. Under Joe Biden, everything has gotten worse. Everything has gotten worse. If you let the mainstream media tell it, they'll say everything's great. And noise outside. That's not what you're seeing with your eyes, is it? That's not what you're experiencing, is it? That's not what a lot of people are experiencing. So yeah, anyway, it's up to the American people to make the right decision when they're voting. If you made it this far into the video, drop a Singapore flag, a Singaporean flag, in the comments so I know that you watched the whole video. That would mean a lot, because it's a long ass video. It's almost 50 minutes, and there's no reason for you to listen to me all the way through. So I'd really appreciate if you give me that amount of your time. Drop a Singapore flag in the comments, because Singapore is great. They kill the criminals. Whoop whoop. Drop a Singapore flag in the comments if you made it this far. And then, you know, I like to pray at the end of all my videos just to impart peace and blessing and all that good stuff. So just get into it. Dear God, I thank you for this individual watching this channel. Thank you for making them whole and unique and guiding them on a path towards peace, prosperity, and purpose. Peace, prosperity, and purpose. Thank you for blessing this individual with wonderful people in their life who love them and take care of them, bring the absolute best out of them. And thank you for maintaining the ones that are there to do the same thing as well. Thank you for blessing this person with a spirit of gratitude so they give thanks for all the wonderful things in life. And by giving thanks, they can find peace and contentment and attract even more blessings. Let your presence be felt in this person's life so that they know that you're God, that you're real, that you're always going to be there for them and love them. Good health, long life, and happiness with this individual and everyone they care about. In my name I pray. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen, 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 amen.